Now that we have found the electric field due to a infinitely long straight charged wire at some point from the wire that we have found out. Now the second thing is infinite sheet of charge. Suppose any sheet of charge. Actually what we have derived is we found electric field due to a ring. From the ring electric field due to a disk we just found out. Then we derived electric field due to infinitely large disk. So this can also be approximated if it is a disk of infinitely large size. So there is no difference between the shapes, like even it is a plain sheet or disk, whatever, right? Suppose if there is a infinitely large sheet of charge, so it's a sheet of charge, then the charge density will be in what? The amount of charge per unit area will be there. So a sheet of charge is of two dimensions. So for a linear charge, charge per unit length will be there. For an aerial charge, charge per unit area will be there. So the linear charge density lambda is defined as the total charge by total length or charge per unit length. Then sigma is defined as the total charge per unit area. Then charge on a particular area will be equal to the charge density, the aerial charge density or surface charge density into area. That's how we find charge. So here we are going to make some simple steps. So this is a sheet of charge. From this side, when you look at it, the sheet of charge will be like this. So this is extended like this. From this sheet, at this point you would like to find the electric field. What you're doing is, if it is a sheet of charge with surface charge density sigma, from this sheet on either of the sides at equal distances. Suppose this is at a distance r and this will also be at a distance r. If here electric field at all points at this point is E, here also at all points electric field will be E. So the challenge is to imagine a Gaussian surface. A Gaussian surface is an imaginary surface that we assume in order to conveniently apply Gauss law. So what we are going to do is, if you choose area, a circular area something, at all points are equidistant from the sheet of charge, then all points have the same electric field E. Then here at all points which are at equidistant from this will have the same electric field E. E is what we are supposed to find out. Then, I mean, encapping these two, just imagine a cylinder. If you just want me to give a perspective about this, it will be like this. So this cylinder will be passing through this area and come out of this. It will be like this. So it is very similar to be like, what we can say is, you have a sheet of charge and the cylinder is like, this cylinder is passing through this and come out of this, and at this point this cap is there, at this point equidistant. If it is at r distance, this cap is there, at the same distance r, this cap will be there. So the electric field at all points will be the same. Now this closed surface, this is a sheet of charge, right? It's, let's say if it is of positively charged, all the lines of force will be going out like this. Then through this area, lines of force will be emerging out like this, and area vector will also be in the same direction, and here also in this cap. But what about any surface? Here if you consider a surface, the surface will be perpendicular to this, lines of force will be perpendicular to this. In the previous problem, contribution from the caps 0, contribution from the curved surface was positive. Here contribution from the curved surface is 0. For instance, suppose if you take this sheet of charge, then I will take a piece of paper so that you will this is the Gaussian surface, right? It's a cylindrical surface, and there will be one cap closing this, and there will be one cap closing this. Then this Gaussian surface will pass through the sheet of charge and come out of this. So basically this cylinder is on either side at equidistant. This cap from the sheet at distance r, this cap from the sheet at the distance r. Now lines of force will be going out like this. So this area of this surface is perpendicular to this. So area vector is in this direction, lines of force will be in this direction, then the contribution from the curved surface will be 0. Then the total flux, in order to apply Gauss law, what was the thing? The flux through a closed surface will be integral around the closed surface E dot dA, which must be equal to total charge enclosed by the surface by epsilon naught. And here the E dot dA, there will be 3 E dot dA. E dot dA due to curved surface, E dot dA due to this surface, E dot dA due to this surface. Closed surface, E dot dA will be 0. Suppose this area is A, electric field at all points are E, then integral around this cap will be E constant, you can take out, integral of that area will be area of this. If the area of this cap is A, area of this cap will also be A. So E into A for this cap. Here also lines of force coming out, here also lines of force coming out in this direction, hence same outward flux is positive, here also outward flux, here also outward flux. E dot A, which is EA plus EA, will be equal to total charge enclosed. Here this A is A, then this area through which the cylinder goes into the sheet of charge will also be A. If this is A, this is A, this is A. What is the charge density? Sigma. What is the charge? Charge will be in 1 unit area, charge is sigma. 2 unit area, 2 sigma. A unit area, A sigma. Then charge enclosed by this Gaussian surface, because the imaginary cylinder passes through this passes through the sheet of charge in the area A, which is equal to phase area. This area is only A. So then Q enclosed will be sigma A by epsilon naught. Then EA plus EA will be 2EA. 2EA will be equal to sigma A by epsilon naught. Cancelling that out, then you are getting electric field due to an infinitely large sheet of charge will be sigma by 2 epsilon naught. So the same result which we derived there using integral method, the result we are getting it in just one step in the case of what? Gaussian surface. The other point, here I would like to extend this discussion. So now that I'm just going to rub this out to tell you. So from an infinite plane sheet of charge at a distance r, you are considering this, and this area passes through this and comes out of this. This is what basically we did now. At this point and this point are equidistant. All points have the electric field. So electric field from an infinitely plane sheet of charge, E will be equal to sigma by 2 epsilon naught. It does not depend on the distance. Whereas electric field due to a linear charge at a distance r, electric field we found out to be lambda by 2 pi epsilon naught r. E was inversely proportional to r. It was depending on distance, whereas this one does not depend on distance. This is the most striking thing that we observe here. What if it is not a sheet of charge? Suppose if it is a conducting sheet of some thickness. If it is a conducting sheet of some thickness, I'll say it's of some thickness I'm saying. So it is again a sheet, but it has got a thickness. Then what is the electric field at this point? Then the same way from a point, you will imagine a Gaussian surface and passes through, and here you have to close this. But here electric field inside a conductor is always 0. Because of that, here flux through this area will be 0 because electric field is 0. Flux through this area will be EA, just like in the previous problem, and that is equal to sigma A by epsilon naught. Then cancelling it out, electric field due to a thing will be sigma by epsilon naught. Electric field due to a sheet of charge with some thickness, a conducting sheet of charge, all points nearby that sheet will have an electric field sigma by epsilon naught. For a thin sheet of charge, it's an ideal thing, idealization. It doesn't exist really, but it's an idealization. From a sheet of charge, electric field at nearby points will be sigma by 2 epsilon naught on either sides, but here on this side it is going to be sigma by epsilon naught.